Hey guys, welcome back to Human Condition. This is another video in our biology series. And this video is what is dopamine and how does it affect us? So this is more of a chill video I was going to post for you guys today. And this one is basically talking about all the aspects of dopamine, like how it's released, what it does to us, and how it impacts us with our daily lives and interaction with other people, and how it impacts us ourselves. So yeah. Also, if you guys like my biology brain chemical series, don't worry, I'm gonna making more videos on that in the future. I just figured I'd switch it up a little bit and do something different for you guys. So this one is specifically a biology video on dopamine. So yeah, dopamine is the brain chemical motivation, and it's more associated with motivation self-oriented. At least I associate with that. I could be wrong. Whereas norepinephrine is also a brain chemical associated with motivation. However, norepinephrine is more just motivation in general. Whereas dopamine is specifically more motivation for personal desires and things that kind of make us feel good. So dopamine is there for we have dopamine, at least in my opinion, I believe, to help us form routines better, and because when we do good things that we like, it really establishes the fact, oh, I should do this again because it felt good. And dopamine is kind of like that brain chemical, which obviously can have positive and negative effects on us. So dopamine can help us make good habits and bad habits, and it can be associated with both. Um, um, so even the smallest habits, like getting up, doing things that make you feel accomplished, little daily routines, all release dopamine to some extent, some more than others. And this can be things that release dopamine more, at least in my opinion, I could be wrong, are the things that make us more obsessed with them and more stuck on certain things that we do through our daily activities. So it's kind of interesting to see how certain things we get more obsessed over, like more focused on, than other things, based on sometimes other aspects, but mainly dopamine levels. Dopamine's even just associated with movement in general. It's in the body. To movement itself is kind of linked with dopamine. So potentially sometimes less dopamine might be associated with less movement, higher dopamine, higher movement. So sometimes low dopamine can be associated, sadly, with like depression, whereas higher dopamine can be associated with like ADHD, and a little bit of also low dopamine can be associated with lack of motivation, and relying on things that give us dopamine, which I'll talk about briefly in a little bit. But yeah, it can be associated with anxiety and depression, and relying on external things for motivation. Whereas high dopamine, your brain's always running, hard to sit still, always on the go, and very impulsive, and sometimes can lead to impulsivity and making irrational decisions sometimes, based off just, typically it can be anger, but just desires. Things that release more dopamine than other things. Sugar releases more dopamine than just food. Food releases dopamine, but the reason sometimes sugar, I guess, can be very addicting is because sugar releases a ton of dopamine. So when you're like snacking, like, oh, this is fire, it's releasing a ton of dopamine, and that's why we're more desired and more motivated to eat sugary things sometimes. Basically anything that makes you're highly wanted, like behaviors that you want to repeat in. Think of whatever that may be, and that's probably has an extreme amount of dopamine associated with it. The thing you want to do on a constant basis, whatever that may be, it probably has a lot of dopamine, potentially. Maybe not, but probably. So those are the things that release dopamine: sugar, Um, Drinking sometimes can release dopamine. Smoking, I think the top two, um, intimacy can sometimes is actually one of the highest things that releases dopamine. So that's why that's pretty up there. I think that's why people in relationships, I guess, are motivated to do that. So yeah, those are the top three probably: sugar, drinking, and uh, action in relationships or intimacy in relationships. Top three that would um, probably release the most dopamine. I think when I research it, I could be wrong, but explains why it's a very habit forming thing. Why people form habits over those things, eating a lot of sugar, drinking, and intimacy in relationships. And so it's basically just the brain chemical. It can be higher levels of it. Can be associated with self-serving, or if you were talking about specifically personality traits, um, it's more based on actions. But if you put it into a personality trait, it'd be someone like in my brain chemical videos that is more self-oriented, more impulsive, and more focused on one's own desires than other desires. Whereas the brain chemical like norepinephrine, if you put that in a personality trait, it'd be like more the motivation that we have for like doing more noble things, in my opinion, or more things that are just motivated rather than self-oriented things. Norepinephrine I associate with more motivation of noble things. Dopamine more motivation for one's own desires. So yeah, this is what is dopamine and how does it impact us. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe if you want. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.